The attack on Manchester last night, the terrorist outrage, it's utterly heartbreaking. It's been made all the more clear to me this morning as I spoke to my kids, all of whom each had a friend or more at the gig last night in Manchester. And we know that every terrorist attack on our country is an attack on every single one of us. But this is of a different order. This was a terrorist attack deliberately targeted at children having the time of their lives. It was cowardly, it was deliberate, it is beyond wicked. And that is why it's right that we should determine that justice must be done, and we continue to stand up to those who wish to harm our society, to take away life and to take away our liberty and our freedom. But beyond that, it's so important too that we recognise that last night and throughout this day we're seeing Manchester and Britain at their absolute best. Our emergency services, whilst people were running away stricken from this outrage, people putting themselves in harm's way, running towards it to help those who are injured and worse. And we see also the people of Manchester opening their homes, opening their cars, opening their shops and their businesses, church halls and everything else to warmly embrace and get alongside those people who are affected. There is so much that this day we can be proud of in Manchester's response to all of this, and in our emergency services to whom we are immensely grateful. And just as we should be determined that justice must be done, we should also remember what it is that the terrorists want. They want us to be scared, they want us to give up our liberty, they want us to give up our freedom, they want us to give up our way of life because they hate all of those things. And therefore today we should be determined, standing shoulder to shoulder with the people of Manchester, with one another across the country, that we will not give in to the terrorists. We will continue our way of life. We will do so with determination.
You said that your children knew people at the concert. Can I ask you how you explained and talked about the attack with your children, and whether how they are today?
Well, the conversation I had with them, which was over breakfast this morning, we knew very little about where those friends were. We know a little bit more now. Things are being revealed as we speak, and I don't think it's appropriate for me to go into any more details about those people's whereabouts, but clearly it has a massive impact upon them. And that is something that is going to be the case around every breakfast table, around every home in this country, as parents explain to their children how people can do something so despicable to other children. And it is a reminder how important it is that we stand together as a community, that we care for one another, we are decent to one another, and we stand utterly resolute and defiant against the terrorists who would seek to take our lives and take away our liberty. This is a moment where we stand up for one another and to the terrorists and determine that our way of life will not change.
Can I just ask what you think the appropriate time period should be for general election campaigning to be suspended?
Well, all the parties, ourselves, Labour and the Conservatives, have been in discussions, and we are absolutely of the view that our campaigning, our national campaigns, have been suspended today. What happens in the future, that's something to be discussed, but I think today is not a day for us to be considering that and the general election campaign. It all seems pretty small in comparison with the unspeakable outrage that took place in Manchester, the wickedness those children were victims of, and the importance for us to have our thoughts constantly with those who are grieving and who are affected directly, and indeed, in my case, constantly holding those people in my prayers. I think today is not a day for politicking.